Have you ever had this quiet feeling deep inside you? An eel that keeps whispering, you are meant for more. Not just more money, not just more success, but more purpose, more meaning, more impact. Sometimes it hits you in the middle of a silent night. Other times it speaks to you during your hardest moments when everyone else thinks you've been forgotten. But your heart knows something is coming, something greater, something you were born to carry. Maybe you've been through a lot. Maybe your life didn't go the way you hoped. Maybe you've had to fight battles that nobody even saw. But you're still here. And not just surviving, but growing. And that growth, that shift, it's not happening by accident. It's not something random. It's something divine. It's a sign that Allah is preparing you for something bigger than what you can see right now. This message today isn't for everyone. It's for the woman who feels like her story isn't over yet. It's for the woman who feels something deep inside her changing slowly but surely. She's no longer drawn to the things she used to be. She's becoming quiet, focused, peaceful, and yet stronger than ever before. Her heart still breaks sometimes, but she no longer falls apart. She cries, but she doesn't collapse. She lets go, but doesn't lose herself. That woman is being prepared. That woman is being chosen. When Allah chooses a woman for wealth, real wealth, it's not just about her future, it's about her soul, her mission, her ability to hold something powerful without letting it break her. Because real wealth isn't just about having more, it's about becoming more. It's about being trusted with blessings that can change not only your life, but the lives of others around you. And this kind of wealth isn't loud. It doesn't show up all of a sudden. It doesn't flash itself in front of people. It comes quietly. It comes in the form of spiritual signs, deep changes that start to take place inside you before anything shows on the outside. That's how Allah works. He doesn't give you the treasure first. He prepares your heart to be the kind of person who won't lose herself when the treasure arrives. So if you've been feeling different lately, if you feel like your old life no longer fits you, if you've been walking away from what used to distract you, if you've started caring more about peace than attention, then this message might be for you. You see, people think wealth begins in the hands, but that's wrong. Wealth begins in the heart, and Allah never gives a woman wealth in her hands without first building the right strength in her heart. A heart that stays grateful when the blessings arrive. A heart that shares instead of showing off. A heart that doesn't forget Allah in the middle of comfort. That's the kind of woman Allah chooses. This is a journey, and like every journey, it starts with signs. Signs that something is changing. Signs that your struggle had a reason, that your pain had a purpose, and that your future has already been written in a way that is bigger than what you can even imagine. In this video, we will talk about the 5 powerful signs that show up in a woman's life when Allah is preparing her for wealth. And these signs aren't what you might expect. They aren't about money falling from the sky. They aren't about sudden success. They are quiet, personal, and deeply spiritual. And if you've noticed even one of them, then you need to pause and look close, because you might be standing in the middle of your preparation season without even realizing it. Many women think they're being punished when Allah is actually preparing them. They think they're being delayed when they're actually being trained. They cry because things are falling apart, not knowing that Allah is clearing the path to something they never even prayed for, but were always meant to receive. And that's the beauty of being chosen. You don't always understand what's happening, but your heart starts to change. Your habits begin to shift. Your desires become cleaner. Your goals become more meaningful. And the more you walk forward, the more you realize your life is being transformed, step by step, for something so much bigger than just you. So many women pray for wealth, but not all are ready for it. Because real wealth comes with responsibility. Real wealth comes with discipline. Real wealth doesn't just bless you, it tests you. It asks, can you still stay humble? Can you still care for others? Can you still trust Allah when He gives you what you ask? These questions are answered in silence, in sacrifice, in patience. That's why Allah doesn't give it all at once. He sends the signs first. He changes your character before He changes your conditions. He builds your faith before He builds your fortune. Because without that foundation, blessings can become burdens. But when a woman is truly chosen by Allah, everything she goes through begins to make sense. The pain, the losses, the lonely nights, the sacrifices, they all become part of a bigger story. A story written with mercy, a story written with love, a story that ends in beauty. So don't ignore the changes in your soul. Don't run from the stillness. Don't fear the shifts that are happening within you. These are not signs that you're lost. These are signs that you are being led. These are the signs that Allah is writing a new chapter for you. And wealth in its purest and most powerful form may be part of it. You begin to outgrow who you used to be. This is one of the most powerful and emotional signs that Allah is choosing you for wealth. But it's not the kind of wealth people imagine. It's not just money. It's something deeper, something purer, something that begins inside your heart before it ever shows up in your hands. You see, when Allah chooses a woman for wealth, He doesn't give it to her when she's still living in her past. He doesn't bless her while she's still holding on to the version of herself that was built on survival. No, He waits until she starts outgrowing the girl she used to be. Until her soul starts to feel too big for the life she used to tolerate. That's when the shift happens. That's when the elevation begins. It begins in silence, in private, with no announcement, no applause, no crowd watching. It begins when you're sitting alone and suddenly your heart feels like it's reaching for more, and you don't know why. You just feel it, like a silent knocking on your soul, telling you, you can't stay here anymore. Maybe for years you were the woman who stayed quiet just to keep the peace. You were the one who settled, the one who accepted less because you didn't think you deserved more. You played small because you thought that was humility. You ignored your own needs to keep others happy. You never dared to dream big because no one ever told you that you could. But then something changed. Something inside you broke. But not in a way that destroyed you, in a way that awakened you, and now you're starting to feel different. The life that once felt normal, now feels suffocating. The friends you used to laugh with now feel like strangers. The goals you used to chase now seem too small. Even the way you used to think, those old beliefs, those old fears, they no longer have power over you. You're not the same woman you used to be. And that's exactly the sign. That's exactly how Allah starts preparing a woman for wealth. Because before He gives you the blessing, He makes you grow into the person who can handle it. He stretches your heart. He expands your vision. He breaks every lie you used to believe about yourself. And it hurts. Growth always does. But the pain is not without purpose. The discomfort is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the next chapter. This is the season where you start shedding layers you thought you needed. Maybe it's the old belief that you have to suffer to succeed. Maybe it's the habit of pleasing people who never appreciated you. Maybe it's the fear of being seen, the fear of failure, the fear of wanting more. All of it begins to fall off you like dead weight. And though you may not understand it fully, you begin to trust the process. You start believing that there's something more for you, that Allah wouldn't be stirring your soul for no reason. This outgrowing process is sacred. It's lonely. Yes, it's confusing. You'll question yourself many times. You'll cry. You'll feel like you're losing everything and everyone. But what you're really losing is the old you. And the old you had to go because she couldn't carry the weight of what's coming. She couldn't receive the kind of wealth Allah is about to trust you with. The new you, she's bold. She's clear. She walks with quiet confidence. She listens more to her intuition, less to people's opinion. She makes decisions not based on fear, but on faith. She's learning to say no without guilt. She's learning to speak up without shame. She's starting to dream again, not just for herself, but for the legacy she wants to leave behind. You're beginning to walk with purpose. You don't just wake up and go through the motions anymore. You wake up with a vision. You see the bigger picture. You start imagining a life where you're not just surviving, but thriving. Where your wealth isn't just for comfort, but for impact, for helping others, for changing lives. That's when you know. That's when it becomes clear. Allah is preparing you for something more. And here's the most beautiful part. When you truly outgrow your old self, you stop asking for people to understand you. You stop begging them to support you. You don't need their validation, because now you're being guided by something much more powerful than people. You're being guided by Allah. And when He guides you, it doesn't matter who misunderstands you. It doesn't matter who leaves. It doesn't matter who doubts, because when Allah starts elevating you, no one can block it. No voice can silence it. No door can stay closed. The blessings start to find you. The right people start to notice you. Opportunities start coming out of nowhere. But it all begins with one thing: you letting go of who you used to be. So if lately you've been feeling disconnected from the life you once loved, if you've been questioning your friendships, your choices, your dreams, if you feel like you don't belong where you used to thrive, don't panic. That's a sign. That's Allah saying, it's time to rise. It's time to grow. It's time to prepare. Because when Allah chooses a woman for wealth, He doesn't just pour money into her life. He transforms her from the inside out. He makes her a vessel of goodness, a light in the dark, a woman of value, so powerful, so generous, so blessed, that others find healing just by being around her. But it all begins here. When you outgrow the woman you used to be, you're not losing yourself. You're finding your real self. And she is the woman Allah is choosing for something massive. Not just money, not just success, but wealth with purpose. So don't resist the change. Don't fear the silence. Don't mourn what's ending. Walk forward. Walk slowly. Walk faith, because the next version of you is already being written. And that version is exactly who Allah will trust with a life full of blessings. You start thinking differently about money. One of the clearest signs that Allah is choosing a woman for wealth is this: the thoughts about money begin to change completely. It's not a small shift. It's a deep, life-changing transformation that happens within her. And it's not about suddenly earning more. It's about understanding more, feeling more, seeing money with different eyes. Eyes of wisdom, peace, and responsibility. Before this change happens, a woman may live her life constantly chasing money from a place of fear. She fears not having enough. She worries about bills. She stays awake at night, thinking, how will I survive? Maybe she grew up in poverty. Maybe she saw her parents struggle. Maybe she always felt like money was far from her, like wealth was something meant for others, not for her. She worked hard but never really felt safe, always running, always anxious. But when Allah begins to choose her for wealth, something inside her changes before anything changes on the outside. She doesn't suddenly get rich overnight, but her mindset becomes rich first, and that's the key. That's where everything starts. Suddenly she doesn't see money as something to chase. She sees it as something to manage, something to respect, something to prepare for. She starts asking new questions. How can I grow what I have? How can I use it wisely? How can I bless others through it? And these questions are not driven by fear anymore. They are driven by faith. She doesn't waste her energy on comparison. She doesn't cry over what others have. She looks at her own hands and whispers, Allah, whatever you give me, I will use it well. I will honor it. I will protect it. And in that moment she becomes ready for more. Not because she's greedy, but because she's grounded. That's the shift. Money is no longer about status for her. It's not about proving her worth. It's not about showing off. It's not about impressing anyone. It becomes something pure, something purposeful. She doesn't feel important. She spends with intention. She doesn't want to be praised. She gives because her heart is full. She doesn't need to show the world her wealth. Her peace shows it for her. And when that peace comes, everything begins to align. She becomes less reactive, less emotional, less panicked when things go wrong. If something breaks, she doesn't cry. She fixes it calmly. If her income dips for a while, she doesn't spiral. She waits. She breathes. She trusts me. Because now she knows real wealth doesn't just come from the world. It comes from Allah. And what Allah gives, no one can take away. What Allah sends always arrives right on time. She begins to study, not just books or bank accounts, but herself. her habits, her spending, her patterns. She learns where her money is going, why it's leaving, how it's being used. She no longer says, I don't understand money. Instead, she says, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm becoming wiser. And this is how Allah prepares her for more, by guiding her through self-awareness. Even her relationship with luxury changes. She no longer feels the need to own things just because others have them. She doesn't wear expensive brands just to feel accepted. She doesn't chase trends. She chooses what brings her peace, what reflects her values, what feels aligned with who she's becoming. And because she stops overspending to fill emotional gaps, she begins saving more, planning more, investing wisely. That's another powerful shift. She begins to understand that money is not the goal. Impact is, freedom is, choices are. The ability to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong ones. The ability to walk away from toxic jobs, unhealthy people and draining environments. That's real wealth. And that's what Allah begins building inside her. She also becomes generous in a quiet way. Not loud, not performative. She gives without needing attention. She helps people without telling the world. And she gives even when she has little. Because she trusts that giving doesn't decrease her wealth. It increases it. Not just in numbers but in meaning, in fulfillment, in joy. And here's what's beautiful. This new way of thinking doesn't just change her finances. It changes her future. She starts building things she never imagined before. A business, a foundation, a legacy. She starts writing plans, speaking dreams, moving with purpose. Because now money is not just a number. It's a tool in her hands, a weapon in her fight for good, a blessing to shape the lives of others. She teaches her children about money, not just how to earn it, but how to respect it. She talks about it with truth, not fear. She tells them what you have doesn't define you, but how you use it, that shows who you are. And in doing so, she raises a generation that doesn't just chase wealth. They honor it, they protect it, they share it. She stops letting money control her emotions. She stops letting it define her worth. She no longer cries when others have more. She smiles. She says, Allah, thank you for blessing them, and thank you for blessing me in ways I can't yet see. And just like that, she rises, because Allah sees her heart. He sees that her heart is no longer obsessed with wealth, but aligned with purpose. And that is when He gives. That is when He opens the doors. That is when the right opportunities, the right people and the right moments begin to show up. And it all began when she started thinking differently about money. So if you're watching this and you feel your thoughts shifting, if you're starting to believe in your ability to manage money, if you're feeling more peaceful around it, more hopeful about it, less afraid of it, that's not just growth. That's Allah preparing you for what's next. He's planting seeds of wealth in your heart before He places riches in your life. Because only a heart that is free from greed can be trusted with abundance. Only a soul that is steady in storms can carry heavy blessings. And only a woman who honors what she has now will be given more tomorrow. You are becoming that woman. Slowly, quietly, deeply, you are being transformed. So trust the process. Embrace the mindset shift. Keep walking with faith. Because the wealth you are preparing for is already being written in your name. And soon, it will find its way into your hands, guided by the hands of Allah. You feel called to serve others. This sign is perhaps the most beautiful of them all. It's not loud, it's not showy, it doesn't scream for attention. But when Allah chooses a woman for wealth, one of the most powerful transformations He gives her is a heart that aches to serve, not to be served, not to be praised, not to be celebrated, but to serve. A woman who is chosen for wealth by Allah does not carry the desire for money in the same way others do. She doesn't want wealth just to decorate her life. She doesn't dream of riches just to impress. She isn't chasing the shine of gold. What she's chasing is something else. She wants to make a difference. She wants to help people rise. She wants to see others smile because of something she gave them, something she built, something she stood for. That's how Allah writes generosity in her soul before He writes wealth in her life. Before she even holds riches in her hands, She holds compassion in her heart. And that compassion starts showing up in unexpected ways. Maybe she notices someone struggling and can't ignore it. Maybe she starts praying for people she doesn't even know. Maybe she finds herself thinking, if I ever had the chance, I would help them. And that's not just kindness. That's not just being a good person. That's Allah softening her. That's Allah turning her into a woman who will protect her wealth from becoming a weapon. A woman who will use it to uplift, to shelter, to support. A woman who understands that true wealth is not in what you collect, but in what you give. So she begins to dream bigger, not for herself, but for others. She wants to take care of her parents in ways she never could before. She wants to support her siblings, give her children opportunities she never had, sponsor a student, open a home, start something that changes lives. And those dreams, they're not silly, they're not too much. They're signs. They are the echoes of Allah's plan whispering into her heart. Get ready. You won't just hold wealth. You'll heal others with it. She starts noticing things others ignore. The single mother, struggling to raise her kids. The elderly man sitting alone at the masjid. The young girl who wants an education, but doesn't have books. The orphan with no shoes. She doesn't just walk past, her heart stops. Her eyes fill, her chest tightens. Because this isn't just sympathy, this is calling. This is a vision. This is what happens when Allah begins to show you your mission. You realize you're not here just to enjoy the world. You're here to do something in it. To fix something. To ease someone's pain. To carry burdens no one else can see. And you begin to understand your wealth is not yours. It is trust. It is my responsibility. It is a chance to become a reason someone else smiles again. So you give. Even when you don't have much, you give. You give your time, your energy, your dua, your advice. You give your present. You give your voice. And this is the miracle. The more you give, the more you feel full. Not empty, full. Because Allah designed it this way. The woman who gives from little is the one He chooses to give more, because she's proven her heart is big enough, pure enough, brave enough. She's not waiting to become rich to help. She helps now, she acts now, she lives now. And through that she begins to change. She becomes softer and stronger at the same time. She becomes more disciplined, more focused, more awake to the needs of the world around her. And this awakening isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. She begins to feel the pain of others as if it were her own. She begins to pray for people in silence. She cries not for herself, but for the world. She sees suffering and she doesn't say someone should do something. She says, Allah, if you choose me, I'll do it. That moment when a woman says that from the depth of her soul, something shifts in the heavens. Because now she's ready, not for fame, not for attention, but for service. And this service changes her entire life. She becomes a magnet for blessings, not because she's asking, but because she's ready. Allah knows who to trust. He knows who will use wealth to serve others, not destroy them. And when He finds a heart like that, He begins pouring into it slowly, quietly, powerfully. So if you're noticing this shift within you, if your soul is starting to ache for more than just comfort, if you're beginning to see the world's pain and whisper, I want to help, then know this: you are being called, you are being shaped, you are being trusted, and trust is the foundation of true wealth. This world is full of people who chase money, but very few are chosen to carry wealth with responsibility. The woman Allah chooses for wealth is never selfish, because her wealth is never just about her. It's about who she will become through it. It's about who she will lift because of it. It's about the ripple she will send into the world long after she's gone. That's why the woman who serves, who feels called to build, to support, to give, will always rise. Because Allah does not ignore the heart that aches for others. He blesses it, He strengthens it, He rewards it in ways the world can never understand. So serve, even in small ways, even when no one is watching. Because every act of quiet kindness is preparing you. Every time you give without expecting back, you grow. Every time you think about others, you are being noticed by Allah, and He never wastes anything. not your tears, not your dreams, not your sacrifices. The woman who is chosen to serve is already on the path to being chosen for wealth. So walk with grace, give with love, dream with faith. Your hands may still be empty, but your heart is already full, and soon your life will reflect everything Allah has already placed within you. Your patience gets stronger. One of the most powerful signs that Allah is choosing a woman for wealth is when her patience begins to grow stronger. Not weaker, not bitter, but stronger. This doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen overnight. It is not something anyone sees with their eyes, but it is something that is felt deep inside the heart. A woman who has been waiting, struggling, working silently, and yet she doesn't break down. She becomes stronger. That's not a weakness. That is a sign. That is the hand of Allah shaping her for something bigger. There is something beautiful about a woman who waits with grace. She may be waiting for her business to work. She may be waiting for financial ease. She may be working long hours with very little reward. But through all that, she doesn't give up. She doesn't let the storm steal her faith. And while the world only sees her calm face, what they don't see is the storm inside her heart. Fighting, surviving, and trusting that Allah has a purpose behind every delay. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about how you wait. It's about keeping a peaceful heart in a time of chaos. It's about choosing trust when your life doesn't make sense. A woman chosen by Allah for wealth starts developing this deep kind of patience. Not a forced one, but one that grows from experience. Every disappointment teaches her something. Every delay strengthens her. Every closed door helps her realize that she doesn't need to chase what's not meant for her. Because what's hers will come at the right time. No sooner, no later. There will be days when everything feels stuck, when nothing moves forward, when bills pile up, when others move ahead. And in those moments, your patience will be tested the most. You might cry, you might want to give up, but you still keep going. That's not a weakness. That's not failure. That is what strong women are made of. That is what Allah is looking for in a woman He chooses for wealth. Why? Because true wealth is not just money. It is the strength to hold yourself together when life feels like it's falling apart. It is the power to walk with dignity even when your pockets are empty. It is the ability to stay soft in a world that has hardened you. Allah builds this kind of wealth in your character before He places it in your hands. And He does it through patience. You will notice that people start asking you how you stay calm, how you manage your stress, how you smile even when things don't go your way. What they don't see is the 1,000 silent prayers you've whispered in the dark. The times you told your heart, "Be still, Allah is with me." The way you chose faith over fear when nothing was working. This is the strength of a woman whose patience has matured. Not because everything was perfect, but because she trusted Allah even in the middle of confusion. And here's the secret. Patience is a form of preparation. Allah does not delay without a reason. He uses the delay to prepare you, strengthen you, sharpen your vision, clean your intentions, and build your emotional and spiritual strength. Because when wealth comes, it brings responsibility, it brings pressure, it brings influence. And Allah doesn't want you to break under it. That's why He teaches you to carry the weight of hardship, so that when ease comes, it won't shake your soul. A patient woman is not weak. She is a warrior. She has seen dark nights and still held on to hope. She has been disappointed, but she didn't let it turn her bitter. She has been overlooked, but she didn't seek revenge. She has been tired, but she didn't stop walking. That kind of woman is rare, and that kind of woman is the one Allah trusts with wealth. You'll know your patience is growing when your reaction to pain starts changing. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and you start saying, "There must be a reason." When you stop fighting the delay and start flowing with it. When you stop rushing the process and start respecting it. Because you know now that anything rushed does not last. But anything sent by Allah in its right time will be full of peace. You'll notice yourself becoming less reactive, less angry, less anxious, and more calm, more trusting, more grounded. You'll find yourself smiling through moments that used to break you. You'll find yourself thanking Allah even when things aren't perfect. That's the real shift. That's the sign that Allah is building something strong in you, something unshakable, something beautiful. And one day you'll look back and realize that all the waiting wasn't wasted, that every season of patience made you wiser, that every struggle carved strength in you, that every delay was saving you from something less, that Allah was not punishing you with delay. He was protecting you with timing. When wealth finally reaches your hands, you will carry it differently. You won't be arrogant. You won't look down on others. You won't attach your worth to what you own, because you already built your value in the waiting. You already found your confidence in the quiet. You already discovered your purpose through the pain. And you'll remember the woman you were before the wealth, before the success, before the comfort. The woman who stayed patient. The woman who held on. The woman who trusted, even when she couldn't see. And you will thank Allah for every moment He didn't give you what you want, because now you have what you need: peace, purpose, maturity, and a kind of patience that no money can buy. So if you're in that season right now where it feels like nothing is happening, where it feels like you're being tested more than you can bear, know this: it's not a punishment, it's preparation. Your patience is being built because your future is heavy. The blessings you're about to carry will need a strong foundation, and Allah is making sure you're ready. Don't give up. Don't let time fool you. Don't let delay trick you into thinking Allah has forgotten you. He hasn't. He's just writing your story with more care, more depth, more meaning. And when the chapter of wealth begins in your life, it will come after this chapter of patience, not before. Because Allah chooses women not just for their beauty, their success, or their skills, but for their hearts, their strength, their patience. And right now, your patience is your proof. You are being prepared. You are being chosen. And when the time is right, it will all make sense. You let go of envy and comparison. There comes a time in every woman's life when she realizes that her path is not meant to look like anyone else's. It doesn't have to move at the same speed. It doesn't have to match the milestones of others. It doesn't have to follow the crowd. And when that realization settles in her heart, something beautiful happens. She lets go. She lets go of envy. She lets go of comparison. She lets go of chasing what other people have, because she finally understands what Allah has for her, no one can take. And what He gave others, she doesn't need to feel small about. When Allah chooses a woman for wealth, He purifies her heart first. He doesn't just hand her abundance. He teaches her how to be free from jealousy. He shows her how to admire someone's success without feeling bitter inside. He trains her soul to see someone else winning and still feel like her own time is coming. And that right there is a sign. A woman who stops comparing her journey to everyone else's, she is being prepared for something sacred. It starts when you no longer feel insecure scrolling through other people's lives. When you no longer feel empty after seeing someone else's house, business, or lifestyle. When someone else's shine no longer makes you feel dull. Instead of asking why her, you start whispering, "Her time now, mine is coming." That peace inside you, it's not weakness. It's strength. It's maturity. It's proof that Allah is healing your heart from the disease of envy, so you can receive what He's planning to give you. You see, wealth is not just about money, it's about the condition of your heart while you have it. If your heart is full of jealousy, wealth will only feed your emptiness. But if your heart is clean, the wealth will feed others. That's the kind of woman Allah prepares. A woman who doesn't look sideways at others. A woman who stays in her lane, focused on her growth, her goals, her peace. That doesn't mean you won't feel left behind sometimes. You will. You'll watch people you started with get further ahead. You'll see people who seem to do less, receive more. You'll question if your efforts even matter. But in those moments, you'll remember what's meant for you is not lost. It's waiting. And just because you haven't received it yet, doesn't mean you're not worthy of it. It just means Allah is saving something better for you, something that fits who you are becoming. And you'll know you're growing when you can celebrate someone else's blessing without thinking about your own. When your heart smiles for another woman instead of shrinking. That kind of woman, she's not average. She's special. Because she knows how to lift others without lowering herself. She knows how to clap for someone else without feeling left out. And that's why Allah can trust her with wealth. Because when it comes, it won't make her arrogant. It won't make her greedy. It won't make her compete. It will only make her more giving, more humble, more grateful. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. Some days envy will creep in. You'll feel that sting in your chest when you see someone get what you've been praying for. And that's okay. It doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. But the moment you catch it, the moment you decide not to let it live inside you, that's growth. That's power. That's the heart of a woman being polished by Allah for something greater. You begin to notice how peaceful life becomes when you're no longer comparing, when your focus is not on what others have but on what you're building. You wake up with calm, you move with confidence, you speak with kindness, because your worth is no longer tied to what's in your hand, but in who you are. The woman Allah chooses wealth and does not chase approval. She does not measure her success with someone else's ruler. She does not copy, compete, or compare. She carves her own way, walks her own journey, honors her own timing, and because of that, her blessings find her easy, without stress, without struggle. Because her energy is clean, her intentions are pure, her heart is soft. And Allah loves a soft heart. Letting go of envy doesn't mean you stop dreaming big. It means you believe big for yourself and for others. It means you trust that there's enough in this world for all of us. That someone else's win doesn't mean your loss. That Allah is not limited. That He has written blessings in everyone's name. And what's written for you will come to you, even if the whole world tries to block it. You stop looking around and start looking within. You stop waiting to be chosen and start preparing like you already are. And the more you clean your heart, the lighter your soul feels. The easier you attract peace. The more clearly you hear guidance. The faster you recognize doors meant for you, because comparison clouds your vision. But contentment clears it. You start thanking Allah even before the wealth arrives. You stop saying, I'll be happy when, and start saying, I'm already grateful now. And gratitude opens gates. It tells Allah, I'm ready for more because I appreciate what I have. And when you begin living like that, with peace instead of pressure, with gratitude instead of greed, you'll notice things shift. Opportunities start coming. People begin respecting your glow. Your energy feels different because there is nothing more attractive, more magnetic, more powerful than a woman who is content with her journey. You no longer feel the need to prove anything. You no longer compare what's in your life with someone else's highlight reel. You stop fighting for attention. You start flowing on purpose. And when wealth comes, it doesn't change you. It reveals you. It shows the world the beautiful strength you've built in private. So if you've noticed lately that your heart no longer competes, no longer compares, no longer feels heavy when someone else wins, know this, that is not just growth. It is a divine sign. Allah is choosing you. He's purifying you. He's preparing you to receive something that others might not be able to handle. Because the wealth He gives is not just for comfort, it's for impact. And only a woman who is healed from envy can handle that kind of impact with grace. You are being watched by Allah, and He sees your quiet efforts to clean your heart. He sees how you celebrate others, even when you're still waiting. He sees how you choose peace over jealousy, how you choose trust over rushing, how you choose patience over pressure. And because of that, you are being chosen not just for wealth, but for wisdom, for peace, for light, for a life that inspires others not through noise but through grace. Keep walking, keep growing, keep believing. Your time is near, and when it comes, it will feel light. Not because it was easy, but because your heart is ready. And now, as we reach the end of this powerful journey, take a deep breath and let everything you heard today settle into your heart. If even one part of this message touched something deep inside you, then that is not a coincidence. That's a sign, a quiet confirmation that Allah is speaking directly to you. Because when Allah chooses a woman for wealth, He doesn't just change what she has, He changes who she becomes. He works on her silently, away from the noise, away from the world, preparing her to carry blessings without being broken by them. If you've been walking through difficulties, feeling like your life has been stuck or hidden, maybe that's because Allah has been protecting you, not punishing you. Maybe He's been strengthening you, not forgetting you. Maybe your slow season is actually your preparation season. The world may not see your value yet, but Allah does. And when the time is right, He will give you exactly what belongs to you. Nothing more, nothing less, and never too late. Don't rush the process. Don't doubt your path. Real wealth doesn't just show up in your hands. It shows up in your mind, your heart, your discipline, your peace, and your ability to walk with trust even when nothing makes sense. Keep growing, keep believing, keep walking with Allah, because what is written for you will find you, and it will bless you in a way that feels safe, peaceful, and right.